When we think of dangerous nature, our minds go straight to lions, sharks, or venomous snakes. But what if I told you that some of the deadliest threats on the planet are completely rooted in the ground? They don't have teeth, they don't have claws, and they don't move, but they can cause pain so intense, it's been described as being electrocuted and burned by acid at the same time. Plants have evolved ingenious, and sometimes downright evil, strategies to stay alive. Today, we're counting down 7 dangerous plants that you should never, ever touch. Let's get into it. First up is a tree that looks like a perfect spot for a picnic, but it's actually a biological minefield. Meet the manchineel. Found in Florida, the Caribbean, and Central America, this evergreen carries a fruit that looks just like a small green apple. In fact, locals call it the beach apple, but the Spanish name is much more accurate, Manzanilla de la Muerte, or the little apple of death. Every single part of this tree is toxic. The fruit can kill you, but the real danger is the milky sap. It contains a chemical called phorbol, a massive irritant. Get this, you don't even have to touch the tree to get burned. If it's raining and you stand under a manchineel, the raindrops picking up the sap as they fall through the leaves can actually blister your skin. It's so toxic that Caribbean natives use the sap to poison their arrows. Legend has it the explorer Juan Ponce de Leon died from an arrow tipped with this exact poison. If you grew up in North America, you've heard the rhyme, leaves of 3, let them be. Poison ivy, along with its cousins poison oak and poison sumac, is the king of causing contact dermatitis. The secret weapon here is an oily organic compound called urushiol. Here's the scary part about urushiol, it's incredibly persistent. You don't even have to touch the plant directly. If your dog runs through a patch of poison ivy and you pet them later, you're getting the oil. If it gets on your hiking boots or your gardening tools, it can stay active for months, just waiting to give you an itchy, blistering rash that can last up to 3 weeks. If you think you've been exposed, wash your clothes immediately and be careful how you take them off. One wrong move, and that oil is on your skin for the long haul. Now we're heading to Australia, because of course the most aggressive plant in the world lives there. This is the gimpy gimpy. It looks innocent enough with its heart-shaped leaves, but those leaves are covered in tiny, needle-like stinging hairs. Touching this plant triggers an allergic reaction so severe it can cause anaphylactic shock. But the pain is the real horror story. People who have been stung describe it as being squashed by giant hands while being electrocuted. The pain can last for months, and some people report flare-ups for years afterward. There are even documented accounts of horses being stung and becoming so mad with pain that they jumped off cliffs to their deaths. Foresters in Australia have to wear respirators and thick hazmat-style clothing just to walk near these trees. In southern Africa, there's a shrub known simply as the pain bush or African poison ivy. This plant exudes a creamy sap loaded with heptadicil catechol. When this sap hits the air and dries, it turns black, but by then, the damage is done. Contact with the sap causes a livid, swollen rash covered in blisters. While some lucky people seem to be immune, for most, it's a week of pure misery. It's a perfect example of why you should never go bushwhacking in unfamiliar territory without knowing the local flora. Next, we have the giant hogweed and its cousin, the common hogweed. These are found across Europe and the US, and they use a very specific type of chemical warfare called furocoumarins. When the sap gets on your skin, it causes something called phytophotodermatitis. Basically, it makes your skin lose its ability to protect itself from UV rays. If the sun hits that spot, your skin erupts into severe, painful blisters. Worst of all, if the sap gets into your eyes, it can cause permanent blindness. Pro tip, if you see a tall, carrot-looking plant with white flower clusters, just keep walking. It might be hogweed, or it might be the equally deadly water hemlock. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation. You've likely run into this one in your own backyard. The stinging nettle is found all over the world. Its stems and leaves are covered in hairs that act like hypodermic needles tipped with formic acid. The moment you brush against it, those needles inject the acid, causing a burning, tingling sensation. Luckily, the nettle sting usually only lasts about 24 hours. Interestingly, Humans have turned the tables on this plant. If you cook the leaves, the stinging hairs are destroyed, and it actually becomes a pretty popular and nutritious vegetable in many cultures. Finally, we have the tread softly, and with nicknames like nose burn and finger rot, you know it's bad news. This herb is native to the southeastern United States and is covered in fierce, stinging hairs that are designed to break off inside your skin. It releases various irritant compounds that cause intense itching and stinging. While the symptoms usually fade in an hour, it can leave your skin discolored for days. As the name suggests, this is the number one reason why you should never walk through the woods of the American South in bare feet. Nature is beautiful, but it's also built to defend itself. The next time you're out on a hike, remember, just because it doesn't have teeth doesn't mean it won't bite.